Good evening, everyone. Happy Friday. It's Emily Williams-Knight here with the Texas Restaurant Association. I just want to give you a couple high points on some key things that are happening before we head into the weekend. So first and foremost, on the federal front, and this is where I'm going to actually have a call to action for all of you. We've been trying to keep you posted throughout the week as things have started to unfold. We really believed that by Wednesday or Thursday, Leader McConnell would roll out the sort of the GOP's version of what the next bill would look like. There was a lot of horse trading with the White House, and now that they've come to a framework of terms, it's going to take the weekend to pull everything together. There are a couple high points that I can share with you, but one that is just really critical that I get all of you involved in right now. There seems to be some pressure coming, and it could be on from Rubio's side. We're not quite sure, but the bottom line is for the PPP round, there is some discussion and some documents that we were able to see that show a PPP threshold of 50% revenue losses over a defined period of the COVID pandemic. Now, I know in a restaurant that many of you have suffered 20 to 30% losses, and that's made it almost unsustainable because when you look at the revenue and the margin, it doesn't take much, right, for a restaurant to start to go underwater. We strongly believe 50% is far too high, that many of you that need funding to continue are going to be left out if you have to meet a 50% threshold of losses in revenue. So this is what I need. I've already sent with Kelsey 6 names of restaurants that we just know from our own dealings that we could pick off right off the top of our head that are more in that 25 to 30% loss range, but desperately need this second round of funding in order to survive. And so as you're listening to this, if you could please email me, very simple, eknight@txrestaurant.org. So eknight@txrestaurant.org, and email me if you are in that less than 50% category and you already took a PPP loan and you need another one to survive, right? We're just trying to establish across Texas, and I'm sure my colleagues in other states are going to do the same, but I feel strongly that we've got to get in front of this now. 50% is far too high, and we're not going to have enough people that are going to participate. So again, if you're in that less than 50% of losses in revenue through the COVID pandemic and you need the support and you had a PPP loan already, can you please send me an email and just simply say, this is my restaurant, this is where I'm located, I took out a PPP loan, and I need one again, and my losses are estimating X. Not going to be public information. We're going to use it with our national team, but we want to get in front of our legislators and make sure that they know that that 50% is far too high to start with. The next thing we have is around unemployment scheme, and we've had sort of two schools of thought here, right? There's so many employees that are still on the sidelines because the restaurants don't have the revenue yet, and you all don't have the revenue or the customers to bring them all back. And these are people you've really trained and you've invested in, and we want them to be part of our community, but you don't have the ability to bring them back right now. If the unemployment scheme were to disappear completely, you would likely lose those individuals. At the same time, sustaining the 600 per week has sometimes made it a disincentive for people to come back to work. And so you don't really need to fall in either camp. You just need to know that we believe you need to extend some type of support, but that it should also include some type of going back to work, because I believe every American and every Texan wants to work, but we just need to make that work for them. So I think that where we're going to land is right now they're on about a 70% replacement wage. This was talked about early on, but honestly, the state's ability across the US to be able to implement this is almost impossible. Archaic technology, workforce development and workforce commissions that are just so, gosh, burnout isn't the word, but they're processing more claims than they've processed in years, right, in months. And so I just think piling that onto the state's already heavy workload and then trying to execute so people don't see a break in their benefits is almost impossible. So where it sits right now is about a 70% wage replacement. If they can figure out how to administer it, that's great. And if they can't, my hope is they'll come up with some other solution. But that is still in the mix. And as I shared last night, the payroll tax cut to individuals is officially off the table. So we'll see how this swings through. If we get updates through the weekend, I may come back on Sunday night and give you more on this piece. The numbers today, again, we just got them from Joe, who monitors them very closely for us. The numbers across the state, again, were good, not great, but good. And so anytime we can see hospital beds with better availability, especially ICU beds, and a positivity rate that starts to drop, I think we had just over 7,000 positive today. That's good. We know there's areas like the Valley and others that are really still struggling to slow the spread. But in general, we have definitely started to see that flattening. And if you look below, you'll see it in that grid. That's all going to lead to our ability to get some of the health protocols adjusted if needed, also about getting additional capacity. But I also want to be super clear that what we don't ever want to do is try to push hard to get that expansion when we know the consumer, A, isn't there yet, or B, that we would do anything to ever cause, us to go back to where we're sitting today. Nobody wants that. So I think that we'll continue to partner really closely with the governor's office and his team. They've been very clear with us, guys, that as soon as you see this flattening and this momentum, this downward trend, that this is an industry that, the state cares deeply about, and that we will get that support. So again, it's another just good news to see that curve start to happen and that flattening start to happen. This also brings me to something that I just want to make sure you don't miss, the marketplace. The marketplace is the biggest show in the Southwest. It's a lot of S's. The Southwest for food and beverage, and sort of bringing everyone together around food, beverage, technology, education. Made the decision to go online, and I'm so proud of the team at the TRA because we have more than 40 education sessions now, which is unbelievable because you can sit in your restaurant or sit at home and watch them online. But it's everything from the future of delivery. What does that look like? The future of dining. And each of these are brought by leading tech companies and large organizations that have a good sense of where we're headed. The state of the industry with Black Box Intelligence. They are the source of data. They are my go-to, the association, even National's go-to when it comes to trends in tracking data. And so Kelly Valade, their CEO and president, is going to present on that. Innovation in packaging. We know that right now packaging has become so critical. So it's not just about throwing everything into a bag and sending it out the door. It doesn't work anymore. And how do you actually afford and create the same margin if your packaging is expensive or the food doesn't hold en route, right? That's something you don't want. So that I'm super excited about. Really, anything around technology and innovation. And we also have a number of large brands are going to come present on how they pivoted during the crisis. So my message to you is, look at the agenda as it unfolds and sign up for the sessions. If you're a member, there is no cost to you. So please sign up, get information. There's also on legal pitfalls to avoid during the COVID era, how to deal with employees' health and safety. And then of course, what leads us to me to talk about really is, again, and I'm gonna keep talking about it until you guys don't wanna hear it anymore, but really until you sign up, which is the Texas Restaurant Certification Program. I honestly believe that the government's 50% or the state's 50% is actually not what's driving traffic down right now. I know we can't expand more, but what's driving traffic down now is we need to continue to build trust with the consumer. And the consumer needs to know that restaurants are a safe place to go. And frankly, they're escape in most places. So get the promise document. We're going to have a place for you to go to essentially a step one that says, I commit to the restaurant promise, which most of you have. And then step two is that free training and certification. Give your employees the knowledge they need. The courses are beginning to roll out with Dallas College. The Workforce Commission in the state have given us that $500,000, so there is no cost, but there's no reason that every one of you is not signed up and you have that certification that you earn in the window, which just again speaks to the fact that you are doing everything you can to keep your customers safe. Please make sure, and we'll make sure there's also a session on that for Marketplace, and that you begin when the sessions roll out scheduling. It's actually a 6-day marketplace, which is amazing. And what we've done is these exhibitors who have incredible products and knowledge for you are doing these almost information sessions, right? Where you're actually going to get more than just stopping by a booth, in my opinion. You're going to get to see actually everything about that and not even have to wait in line. So the good news is that we are so proud of our exhibitors and giving them a chance to not only meet with people from Texas, but opening this up nationally. We know that our other state associations are promoting. We're going to have people all over the US be able to see these product demonstrations and get more information as you're trying to navigate sort of the post-COVID-19 world. The next thing is around the legislative agenda. I think most of you know that we had Representative, or really Chairman of Administration Guerin, in a town hall this week, and it was a nice dose of reality, right? Which is this next session, no one really knows. Can we go into the Capitol, Kelsey and I? What's the lobbyist role going to be? How many bills are going to get passed? What cannot do, right? Our legislature is really set up to kill bills, not pass them. So we've taken our large agenda, and over the weekend, we'll be sending to our board and our PAC group what we believe are the most important things, which is really 2 or 3 things, which are bills that we want to pass. And then we will begin working on that. And I can tell you that preserving alcohol and mixed drinks to go and that entire sort of waiver process and making that legal going forward is a huge piece of our agenda. And then also things like the retail waiver. We're looking at some tax pieces, but what's very clear is that our budget will be beyond challenged. I think Comptroller Hager has been very clear about that. So whatever we do as an industry, it's going to have to be without creating a fiscal note for the state. But I think within the next 2 weeks, once our PAC and our board has approved and that we have all the support across the state from our chapters and our board members, then we'll roll this out to you, but we'll be getting very close, and then we'll begin work on actually drafting legislation for next spring. And then finally, I just want to make one more call to action. The Texas Restaurant Relief Fund that Joe created in partnership with the Education Foundation Board has really drawn in more than $2.4 million, and that has gone back out to independent restaurants. Most of you that are listening to this are independent restaurants or chain restaurants or franchisees, and you fall in that operator category. But I also know that you have tremendous number of contacts that would have the ability to help support the industry. Just today, I got a note from a board member that an individual, I think she's actually a young girl, had made jewelry and decided that all the proceeds, 100% of her profits, which are just about $800, she chose to donate to the independent restaurant foundation that we've created. And I think that, right now, if you ask me where I'm losing sleep at night, it is over the independent restaurants. It's over the individuals that have the specialty, that have, created the most amazing sushi in my community, and the skill and the art they bring to that, you just don't replace tomorrow if they were to close. And it's all the little coffee shops that I've spent my life in, right? Having meetings or just finding an escape from all the work. My favorite Thai place. I just, all of those places that are small and unique and have the heart and soul of an individual. And I think some of you might know, but not everyone. I also was president of a college that had a world-class culinary arts program. And so I would see these students come in some cases for 2 years or more, be trained in some of the best statistics, the best techniques around the world. And that would be from master bakers or master chefs. And it just, we can't afford to lose all of that in this. And I'm growing more and more concerned that without relief, that the pressure is so much on these independent restaurants that I ask you, if you know of organizations or of foundations that would be able to contribute like this young girl did today, I would be truly grateful. I don't want to lose sight of this, because I think as we gave hundreds of grants out early, I believe there is a real need right now for us to be able to give out grants again to these independent restaurants. So, we'll put the URL down below. I've learned not to say it because I don't get it right, but we'll put the URL down for you. And if you do have the means to just please send that out to your friends or family and ask them to donate, it would be just absolutely tremendous. On that note, we're going to keep hanging in there. We're going to have a good weekend, hopefully not too busy of a weekend. As things do maybe come out over the weekend federally, we'll let you know. And my last, again, reminder, PPP, please, if you took a loan, you're in that 0 to 50% loss during the COVID period, send me an email with the information I asked, because it would just help me to put all this together to be sure that we can get those stories to our elected official. That 50% threshold is too high. We need to have that much lower, because in our business, much lower is still a significant loss. So everyone keep being positive, take a big step forward, have a great weekend. Know that we're here for you. And again, it's enight@txrestaurant.org, and I'll see you on Monday. Take care. Bye-bye.